let's get started. We start right out with that stance position. There's three major keys on the stance. And number one, what we want to talk about is the overall posture. The angle right from the top of your head right to your hips. As you can see, Coach is tilted just slightly forward, just a few degrees forward, just a slight, because we're going to go toward the foul line. Then from the hip to the knee, we want to flex those knees, about 3 to 4 inches. Just flex those knees. Take the stiffness out of the legs. Get those knees flexed. And then from the knee to the ankle, they're just pushing a little forward, down with the buttocks just slightly, a little bit of a tilt. That's number one, the posture. Then number two, we want to talk about the ball position. Coach, I know you specifically have some topics there we can talk about.
Sure. With the ball position, you want to start in the medium position to test to see what feels good to you. Over the years, I've found as a smaller person, holding it a little higher tends to be a better spot for me. It allows me to create a little more swing. So if you're a little smaller, a little lighter, you might want to try holding it a little higher. The opposite is true. If you're a little bigger, a little stronger, you might go from the medium position and drop it just a little bit lower. So there's several different positions as a new bowler that you'll want to try to test. And even if you're an older bowler and might want to test it and see if it's better.
And you know, as Coach alluded to, being a smaller person, you hold a little higher and just push it out and hinge it down and get moving to create some power. We call it swing power, higher position, bigger drop. You start around that medium position, around waist high. And then you can either add a little power to it or take a little away. Again, if you're a big, thick, heavy forearm guy that's firing it down there. So try the three different positions. See which one you like the best. See which position really works for you. So now, Coach, if you would, pick up that bowling ball. And now we want to talk about the third item of concern. That's the wrist and the hand position. We have the overall posture. We have the ball position. And now we'll talk about that wrist. If you can see here, that wrist is nice and straight. We see people every day who flop their wrist down or flop it back. That's a weak ball roll. Even if you hit the pocket right, which we're going to talk about, the ball don't have any roll on it because the hand's in a weaker position. In fact, this is good for spares because we're going to talk about that when we get to the release position. Right now, we just want to talk about the wrist position and the hand position in the stance. Keep that wrist nice and straight. Nice and straight right here. That's why some people even wear a wrist guard to keep firm up that wrist, especially for a smaller person. Okay. The other thing is just, if Jerry didn't have her thumb and fingers in the ball, she could just hold that ball just flat in her hand. She can just hold it right there flat in her hand. So we have three things in a stance. It's real simple. Overall posture, the three angles, head to the hips, hip to the knee, knee to the ankle bone. Get that body ready to go. Okay, that's one. Ball position, height. High position, smaller person, medium. Start out medium. You can bring it up a little higher or take it down a little bit if you're throwing it too hard. And then we have the wrist position and the hand flat under the ball. Just balance that ball in your hand. And now we're getting ready to start. We're in position and we're getting ready to start. We'll talk about the start now. Topic 2.